For about 4 to 5 months now, we've done over nearly 10K subscribers and over 200K long form views. All the videos I've been posting for them has been outliers.
We would rather work with someone like you who essentially is just like, hey, we're going to do all the ideation. We're going to do all the crafting. We're going to do all the script. We're going to do all the post-production. We're going to do all editing. Like that makes it super simple for someone like us.
We can tell the people how much the YouTube has made.
Last time I checked, it was like a little over 100. You guys do such a great job. Cost to value makes a lot of sense.
We're beating the agency stigma.
You are, honestly.
Yo, what's up? So today we have the man, myth, the legend himself, my boy Ryan Clogg. He's going to be joining me today to share his experience working with Content Cash Media. Can you just, briefly describe your business, what you do, who you are for the people that don't already know, bro?
Yeah, 100%. Call it main co on the internet, but essentially we have an info coaching business that's essentially all coaching right now and mid to high ticket annual subscriptions. We did about 30 million last year in cash collected.
Sheesh, that's a big number, bro. I think that was a little bit of a humble introduction of yourself, but I think the viewers will get to see who you are throughout the interview. But now you've been working with Ryan and the main co for about 4 to 5 months now. We've done over nearly 10K subscribers and over 200K long form views. All the videos I've been posting for them has been outliers. And when Ryan came to me, they were looking to just boost up their organic presence because it wasn't as strong as they wanted. I want you to kind of talk about the before and after. You can talk about numbers wise and then also revenue growth of like before us working together and then now.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm just very real with this kind of stuff too, which is like we talked about before. But yeah, essentially when we initially wanted to do this, we looked around the market. So first off, like you were the most recommended. I had like 3 to 5 different people that were commenting and in DMs like, oh, you got to use them. Saw your stuff. And like you kind of from the outside, it's just the people that crush it on YouTube within our space are generally a little bit more like biz op. They're more the younger, like young money style version of it, which is zero problem at all. It's just like different. So we're like, okay, like, is this going to work? Let's do a trial run style. And our entire goal and intention was to increase our first click. So like make it so it's properly growing from first. And we talk about this all the time in the chat when you and I go back and forth. But what actually ended up happening is much different than what the initial goal was, which was interesting. We do get first click. It did grow in that way, but like, did it grow at this exponential rate and all that? No. But what it did do was essentially reach a lot of our organic exists as middle and bottom of funnel because of how we run the business overall, which is a lot of application book a call funnel is like exclusively what we do. So the time between when someone applies or books a call and actually has the phone call or then has the actual purchasing decision can be a much longer window. So they see us, we run very heavily on Meta, which, again, doesn't help the first click on YouTube. We run very heavily there. So we have a ton of attribution that comes from first click Meta, but they will then go and look up our name, look up our search or whatever. And like, we are dominating that, or you guys are, crafting through and dominating that for us, which is like fantastic. There is growth in first click, but again, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, like took over and we did X amount. Like we ran out of screenshot, but it was something like 100K over a range. We did like 10 million or something, which again, it was like zero. So like it was a step up in the right direction, just as a percentage of like total first click. It's not there yet, but like I see the outliers, we see the growth. And then the other big piece when coming to you guys was like kind of like resource allocation idea being like, in order to do this, how you guys do this and perfect this. We would rather work with someone like you who essentially is just like, hey, we're going to do all the ideation. We're going to do all the crafting. We're going to do all the script. We're going to do this. And then right here in the middle, you guys are just going to film it. And then we're going to do all the post-production. We're going to do all editing. Like that makes it super simple for someone like us who we're very focused on something and we want to do this, but like, it's kind of a distraction for like our team or like to build another team and who does it. And we'd essentially just pay someone like you, like in-house to try and do this And yeah, so that was kind of our approach to it. And yeah, it's going fantastic. We have a lot of outliers. We have a lot of, even just the quality of it is stepped up a lot on how you guys do it and us learning each other's ways and how you do stuff and how we do stuff. But
yeah, 100%, bro. I appreciate the transparency because like I said, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I think when we started as well, it's just like from month to month, we saw the improvement, like you said, in the views. Like even when we first talked about, okay, we need to get the first click up. Now we have more videos, hitting the 30K, 40K, 50K range. And we're starting to see these videos become the most popular on the channel. So I think we are working towards that and hitting it. I don't know if you had a, direct number for what we could tell the people how much the YouTube has made.
You were going to ask. That's what I'm doing over here. I knew you were going to ask. Last time I checked, it was like a little over 100. So again, we look at, because of how we track things, like there's so many touches of attribution, and honestly, they get like hogged by Meta because we run so much heavy on Meta. So I feel like it almost blends the numbers not in your favor because the only way you're going to get a direct attribution in our trackers is if someone clicks on a link that's in the description or inside one of the comment rungs, right? So like it's in the 100, it's above 100. I can tell you that for sure. But yeah, I mean, like I literally just pulled up the studio here, for example, and like I'm looking through these, and like yeah, we've got some ones that cruise with you guys.
I would hope so, because I mean, yeah, I think the recent most recent ones at like 60K plus or 70K plus views. Which I mean, prior you guys weren't.
Oh yeah, look at that one, 43,000. Look at I'm learning something new every day.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, we have some. I can pull up some too. We have. Let me see. We have
Yeah,
a
38K.
30K video, 48K video, 43K, 38K. So like we have videos that are starting to grow now, and I feel like that's because you guys are willing to trust the process, though, bro. I feel like
Yeah, no, 100%.
we get clients that like our first month wasn't crazy. I think our first month working with you guys, the results were just like
yeah, it was a couple. I mean, like they were definitely more than we were getting. I'll be like very clear here, but were they like these crazy XYZ? No, they weren't. So
and you guys, I think we started seeing greater results around like end of month 2, month 3, when we started to see, okay, what do people like? We started positioning around the pains and desires, tap into the audience feedback, because you guys obviously were the experts. We just had to extract that information more, and then we were able to make better videos. But I also want to talk about the challenges you guys had prior, outside of what we've already conversed about.
Yeah.
So any frustrations around YouTube? I know you talked about wanting to hire somebody in-house. How our process looks different. How has the process changed just before and after working with us and seeing how we handled the entire thing?
Yeah. So we always say like we've worked with so many external agencies for everything you can think of, from like launching referral programs to like tech vendors and builds to content to like all this different stuff. And overwhelmingly, they don't go well. And we were like laughing about it in a meeting. We were like, you know what the the commonality of all those is like it's us. Like it's us. Like we are bad at working with partners because we change things up. Like I just went to the channel and saw what our link in bio for the description of the channel is and what the header is, and like we don't use that product. Like so there's like stuff like that doesn't, because we just move things and we're like, oh, we're gonna do this new thing, we're gonna do this. And when it cracks, like we go all in. And that was like our superpower forever, was the fact that we had like one core funnel, one core set of links, one thing that like really made sense. And then I started making all those YouTube videos. I was talking about how we were like doing all these different ones and we're gonna do all this, and like it worked, but like not for what we want. Like it didn't actually really work out that well overall. We lost focus because things like this happen. If we have something that has a 5% higher conversion rate, which we do on a new one, it's like we should be running that. For us, the frustration prior, like, and even then, like the changes, like I said, like on that, but also changes in team and growth there. So we have you work directly with like our creative director in-house. So like we didn't have that for a long time. So she handles all the distribution. She also kind of overlooks like any in-person shoots and does like a ton of stuff for us. And she's fantastic. But so she really like owns that process, but having her then also own ideation, scripted, like everything that you guys are owning in addition was just like it just didn't make sense at the time. Like she's crushing at what she does, but like you can't just add on, oh, hey, and also pump out, XYZ amount of this and scripting and ideation and editing and thumbs. And like she'd have to build a team for that, and like that just wasn't at the time what we wanted to test it, frankly. And like the OG what's the Hormozy thing where it's like he hires a contractor, then he has the contractor teach the team how to do it, and then he has an in-house team. Like I think it's similarly to that at some level, but like it's just not on the roadmap for us to like bring internal at this time, just because I mean you guys do such a great job, and
I appreciate that.
Cost to value makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we're beating the agency stigma. So
you are honestly. I mean, you're probably one of the longest ones. It's like this kind of style that we have probably worked with. I mean, like technically our media buyers are like kind of agencies, but they're like contractor out. But like those have been for a long time, in all fairness. And then I think that's it.
Yeah, we're about to hit half a year here soon. Yeah. So I'm happy about that for sure. I know you're tapped in when it comes to the YouTube side. I'm curious, do you see a change with the actual like process when it comes to ideation, or just like us being tapped into the market when it comes to YouTube and stuff like that? Or that was one of the biggest
like growth curve moments of us though, right? Is like in the beginning, it was kind of like, I mean, no harm, no foul to us or you or whatever, but it was like, it was a little bit more short, clippy. How do we do kind of like the more engagement style dated one? Which not to say it's not still, but it's more in tune for our market, right? Which like you guys learned in 30, 60 or whatever, and then iterated, and that shows in the changes of views, that shows in these changes that have like, the results that have come from it. I do think there's even still, like, I know we talked about doing, because we have a mix, right? We have the longer form stuff on the page that we do. We have like the review stuff and the testimonial stuff. I think there's still a play. Like if you go to like some of the top videos, like really longer form, but how does that actually work? Yeah. Something that's like 20, 30 minutes. That's like properly done like that. I think and maybe, I don't know, I mean, we can talk about this live, but like maybe there's an angle or something where you guys are involved. And I don't know if you're already, honestly. So if you guys are involved on ideation of like all of the videos we put up outside of you guys, or like, or at least like titling and all that kind of stuff. Cause if it's just the first XYZ, but like I know we added a lot of that kind of stuff in house just because we've done it forever, like the longer form podcasts and that. It's working in that direction. The thing we don't have that I see a lot of people have is you see any of these other like think of like a Thurston. Right. And like he has a similar style thing where it's like, you know, XYZ niche. He has the longer form stuff too. He does break those out, which is different, but he has like a cult following like around him as an individual, which is this weird balance we play on. Like, we don't want that for like key man risk, brand risk, and we want it on the brand, but it's very clear to see that like someone who watches that, it's just different, right? It's like, oh, you're not thinking of Thirst or whatever his app is. You're thinking of him. And then it gets to that. Versus ours, we're going like brand first in terms of like naming and like all that. So yeah, it's just like a different game a little.
100%. No, I feel like you guys are one of the, I wouldn't say the only brand, but like building out a brand channel is definitely different from like actual, you know, someone that's personal. But I think we're doing a solid job of it. We're getting better.
100%
I'm not mad at it. I want to talk about time commitment as well. Obviously, you're in the Slack channel, and we have this situation where I like to tell people like, all we want you to do is get on camera, record, and you make more bread. I want you to speak to that testament. What is your honest like reality of working with us, and when it comes to time commitment and just everything like that?
Yeah, so I would say because we have a team as well as like the core creator brand face. So like I would feel like if you were working maybe with somebody who was a little bit leaner or just like at a smaller number or, you know, doing their thing, it would be more direct with that person, but it's not a lot. Like I see that I just pop in the Slack channel, see what's going on. I see that our in-house like goes back and forth with ideation on you guys and stuff that she sees, more so like tweaking what you guys have, or what about this, or what about that, approvals of things like thumbnails, going back and forth. But then the filming portion, like script comes out, maybe has some slight tweaks, maybe, and then makes it over to get shot. And then that's that, right? And then it's like, you see the feedback loop in there. But yeah, I think, and then I think it would even be less of that if you were a leaner team or a smaller creator or something like off the get. Yeah.
Sounds good.
I think organic is just so like, especially with a lot of the people you work with. I talk to like Ahmed and I talk to these guys all the time, and that's like all they do in organic. And like, it is such a power play for if you have a good offer that is alignment with like an organic can go straight to it. And the throughput, like that's the thing we didn't have for a very long time, is like it didn't really make sense for someone to watch that and then go through the funnel flow we had, because it was kind of like built for paid. And now we're getting closer, like that thing I just saw, like that's the right direction, but we have another one that's even better for that we could push and stuff like that. So yeah, I think either way it's fantastic.
100%. Yeah, I think it was just for us on the strategy side, just coming down to understanding the audience. Like you said, we started making the videos longer, understanding what they actually wanted to watch. For our ICP, it was more practicality. So showing certain stuff in the videos and being able to like, once we tap into that, bro, and then now we're just like reusing what has worked and changing the angles up and having, you know, more outliers pop up here and there. So I'm really happy with that part of it. I wanted to see like, where did you get the most value, you know, working with, what are your thoughts?
Hands off. I mean, like me as an individual, like within the organization, is the idea that it can just like, it actually can get done at a very high quality rate without a lot of like, better word, babysitting, right? Like you guys do your thing, you do what you do. You only require XYZ from us. You don't like pull our time. You don't pull our checkbook. Like you don't, you know what I mean? Like it's like, we have an agreement that's you guys do this, we do this, and you guys stick to that. And you're good at what you do, which is a big thing, right? It's like quality, cost, you know, time, like all of those things, the list. Yeah. You guys you check a lot of those boxes for us. So again, like my crazy dream state is every single thing possible down to the software is done in-house. And like, that would be amazing. And like the cost savings and the efficiency and all this stuff, but it's just unrealistic to do, to like do everything well. Jeremy Haynes talked about this the other day when he was talking about XYZ person that he's working with. It's like a big person, and they put him on, like his agency is on one specific funnel that they're launching, one specific thing. And that person has like 12 of them. And he's like, why do you think they do that? Right. And it's like, because they have these different agencies that are tactical, that are very good at what they do for that specific thing. And like, that's how we view you guys, is like, why build this in-house right now when it's not the big focus of us? We're not trying to turn into like, our number one focus is not to become like an organic juggernaut. Like it's not. Right. But like, we still know that there is like things to pick up on the ground that are right in front of us that we might as well. And you guys check that box and more.
I appreciate that, bro. I know you're a huge numbers guy. I was going to like ask you about where you kind of see the numbers, or just like the future in general. with the next 6 to 12 months building out on YouTube and having that
On YouTube, yeah. I mean, on YouTube, I would love to get like the core metric that I would look at that like properly would do this is the first click. And now because we have an offer that actually aligns with that, where it's like friendly to enter. Because before we were doing everything as lead funnels, so it was like direct to an application or it was through an opt-in. For the longest time, we had it to an opt-in, which is like in hindsight, like kind of silly because they already consumed all this information. They're further down the awareness or consumption ladder, however you want to look at it. And they're kind of like ready for that next step. So like putting them straight to an application is a portion of what we do, which was a win. But now I'm a big fan of the direct to cart. So we have never been big in direct to cart. So like how I would view the next 6 to 10, like X amount would be like more aggressive, probably a bit longer forms so that we can get more consumption and then pushing them into direct to cart products as like the main CTAs. And if we can do that, then they're like actually in our buyer ecosystem, which I think is just going to be worth tenfold what the lead funnels we're bringing. The lead funnels bring all these people in. We do all the email consumption. They get put in retargeting. They continue to consume content, and it's good. But the intent is just not as high as somebody who has purchased or somebody who has done XYZ. So if we can match long form, organic, really quality, and then just like frankly increase the volume of that. So like, yeah, 30K, 50K, that's amazing. But like, what would it take for us to be at 100K plus videos? What would it take for us to bring the average across all the other videos we include on there? Like that's probably on us, but is there a world where you guys can lean in on that and we can like do something there? But yeah, so growth in just pure volume of front end, both in terms of time consumed as well as like unique viewers. That's just number one. And then where they convert through when they come into our ecosystem, like of buyer pool, is that's on us, right? That's on like, how do we make it so the pass off of when they click on it, it makes sense for them to come into our world of our like owned media. So, or whatever you want to call it.
That makes sense for sure. How do you think that is going to affect the business numbers wise?
I mean, that would be large. Like if we do, because if you think about it, the organic generally is much higher. So a lot of these people, simple example, call funnel. So like call funnel, you hear about these guys who are doing like $500,000 a month organic on a call funnel, and they have like 85, 90% show rates. They like DQ anybody they want. Like they do their whole thing and they have like 40% close rates. And it's like, okay, dream state. Then they roll out paid and they have like 40% show rates and like 10% call close. And it's just different, right? Because you're just paid. It's cold. There's no consumption. They haven't followed you for X amount of time. They're not like ready to raise their hand in the same way. So for us, if we actually crack this, that's all we've done. So like we have fine tuned as much as we can and we constantly are making adjustments and breaking things and whatever. So not to say that we've cracked anything, but like we are constantly trying to do that and it's all on paid. So if we could do that on organic, on warm, essentially, like if your ascension rate's a 5, maybe it's a 10. Right? Because there's so much more consumed. If your show rate is a 50, maybe it's a 70 or 80. So like the more that we can weigh the percentage on day of if there's 100 calls booked on day for simple math, and right now it's like 5 or 10 from organic, if it could be like 20 or 30, like that alone would be a handful of high ticket units, which would, 3-5 of those, which is tens of thousands of dollars a day, if that works out. Right. So like, that's how I just like overarchingly view the thing. Cause we're not going to stop paid. We're actually going to go harder, right? We're not going to stop this. We're actually going to go harder. We're not going to like, so like, how do we do that as well on organic to essentially build that moat? Because I think that's a big thing that we do have. It's just a moat in a different way than a lot of other people do. Like a lot of people have it as their organic first click, like that's their traffic source. We don't have that. We have an organic moat in terms of how long we've been around, how much content we've consumed around that period, how much we posted of that, how much, like we have all of those pieces, testimonials. We have, tens and tens of thousands. We have technically 100,000 plus customers if you include low ticket and all this other stuff. Like that's where I think our moat comes from. But to crack proper high volume, we need hundreds of calls a day. So it's like, where does that come from? And it's got to be paid right now. But imagine if 20 or 50 or 100 calls a day were coming from organic, like that would literally be hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, I mean, more than hundreds of thousands of dollars a week.
That's crazy. We got to get to that point then, bro.
I'm here for it. So yeah, wherever behind closed doors, wherever we change and noodle this around, or where you come more on our stuff, or maybe get more tactful on longer form, or like, frankly, whatever you guys are doing and the tweaks you're making is working. It's just like, let's just continue to do more of it. Like I'm here for it.
Yes, sir. And I typically get unique responses on this question, but I was going to ask, did anything surprise you about our service, or did you have like any misconceptions before like working with us?
Did anything surprise me? It sounds kind of like funky, but like I said, like at some level, our agency agreements are generally pretty short. And so you guys kind of proved through. And I'll be very honest, in like month 2 when it came and it was like, renewal. And I was like having them send me like, what are the breakdowns? What are you going to have them change? because we had like a little internal like classic thing that we do, which is not even on you, but we do, which is like, all right, it's not working out of the box. Like, should we just try and do it internal or like kick the can down the road? And instead we like looped around it. We were like, all right, how can we get feedback of things that we see? You guys implemented that feedback. You came with other feedback to us, and like the virtuous cycle. So, yeah. So like, it sounds funky, but like the surprise was that cool. It's actually working for us. The quality is actually there. The time that's required of us is only XYZ, and it's like maintain that, and the results have gone up. So yeah, I mean, I'm kudos for sure.
I appreciate that, big dog. It means a lot coming from you for sure. I'm still trying to make my way up there, so it means a lot.
No. You guys are all There's a lot that happens behind closed. I'm actively in the trenches as well.
Likewise, bro. I appreciate that. Now, besides that, I mean, I guess my last question, if anyone's on the fence about working with Content Cash Media, what would you say to them?
Yeah, give it a try at least. I mean, you don't do anything that is like, I mean, I don't know what you're actively doing for minimums, but it's nothing crazy, right? Mm-hmm. So it's nothing crazy in terms of what the monthly cost is. And it's also nothing crazy as to what the minimum time commitment of trying it. But I would honestly just be like, why wouldn't you rip it? Give it a go, especially if you don't have it or you don't think you're doing it to the level you need to. I think organic is such an unlock. And again, for us, it's something we've never properly done. And YouTube long form at some level mid to long form organic is like essentially the diamond, the golden like traffic source, just because they're just so ready. They've consumed so much. Someone has watched hours of your content potentially before they do the thing. And like, it just makes sense. So yeah, I mean, I would just give it a rip, and you guys can afford it. You know, if you're watching this, you can afford to give it a test.
Got you. And do you have any final thoughts to the viewers, or you said it all?
Final thoughts is you're crushing it. I think that your business as a whole, I mean, the first call that you and I got on, we went through your business model and your cost structure and your lead source and your consistency of leads and all of that. And it's a remarkable business. You're a young dude and you're crushing it. So yeah, I mean, nothing to leave with them other than give it a try. I mean, why wouldn't they? So
I appreciate that. Make sure you guys...
And I love your Twitter love. You got a lot of Twitter love. That was so funny, man. I was dying.
Bro, over 1 million impressions, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to that guy. I appreciate him.
Yeah. No, I mean, you just keep it real. You just keep it real. You keep it how you are. And if there's certain people that vibe with that, they do. Exactly. And if there's certain people that don't, there's don't. Like, for sure, you're going to go out there and try and be doing stuff with, like, Fortune 5s. Like, right now, you don't need to either. I mean, you can do hundreds a month just doing it how you want to do it in your realm, in our world.
Exactly. I mean, it worked with you. I mean, you're on the call right now.
100%. Literally. 100%. So, yeah.
That's why that matters. But no, I appreciate you, big dog. Make sure you guys go check out Ryan's stuff for sure. I'll leave it down below. But besides that, once again, I appreciate you, bro. And I'm excited to keep taking things to the moon. So let's do it.
All right. Talk soon.